everybody! Put down your George R.R. Martins and Haruki Murakami's because it's time to talk about the books I read when I was a kid. Growing up, I was surrounded by relatives who didn't speak very much English, except for my mum and dad. So because of that, I wasn't exposed to the usual list of children's authors that you might expect. Enid Blyton? No. Roald Dahl? The only Dahl I knew was the one that came with my roti canai. Actually, back then I usually ate roti canai with sugar. And yet my parents tried to instill in me a reading habit, and so in kindergarten, I was exposed to Peter and Jane. Remember that? It's supposed to teach you how to read, and you progress from books 1A to 1C all the way to 12C, and each time you finish a book, you felt like you were leveling up. Here is Peter, and here is Jane. Peter is here, and Jane is here. Wow! I never made it past book 4C. I didn't really like the plot. 2 thumbs down! What I read a lot in my preteen days were these. Bookworm books. They were published in Singapore, and damn was I hooked on this shit like fat boys on cake. I remember finding this lying around in my aunt's place when I was about 5 or 6. How can a diamond be cut? We know the diamond is the hardest mineral on earth. So how do we cut it into the shape and size that we want? A small diamond fragment is used to cut another diamond. First, a small groove is made into one of the edges of the uncut diamond. Then a thin, blunt-edged knife or cleaving iron is placed in the groove. The diamond breaks apart when a sharp blow is given on this knife. Holy crap, I didn't know that! Is the South Pole the North Pole colder? Why is number 13 unlucky? How did April Fool's Day begin? If there's one book to be blamed for my love of trivia, it's this book. It's all your fault I was such an annoying know-it-all as a kid. I still kind of am. Thanks Wikipedia. And they've got books on all sorts of topics too. They have one on hobbies, IQ and math questions, a whole series of short stories, and even one that closely copied the plot of Jurassic Park. I was probably the lowest maintenance kid my parents could ever have. Trip to the shopping mall? Just leave me at the bookshop, alone, and come pick me up in about 4 hours. Once a bunch of bookworm promoters came to my school, highlight of my Standard 2 life. Yeah, my Standard 2 life was kind of boring. I'm sure most of you guys have heard about game books. Also something I picked up while I was at a relative's place are these Nintendo Adventure game books. How could I resist myself? There's a picture of Mario on the cover. It was a really awesome read. I never knew you could fit gaming into a book. It had word puzzles, spot the differences, etc. And each time you reached the end, you felt a sense of achievement. Very low replay value though. How many times can you solve a puzzle, right? Other game books I read were Sonic the Hedgehog themed ones, Goosebumps, and of course, the juggernaut of game books in the mid-90s, the Lone Wolf series by Joe Dever. Just check out the cover, it's got a giant freaking spider shooting lightning freaking tendrils. How can you not like this shit? For the uninformed, in the Lone Wolf series, you play a character that gets stronger and stronger the more books you play. And the plot carries over from one book to the next. So once again, you're leveling up. Yeah, I know fighting fantasy started it all, but I like Lone Wolf better because of the leveling up aspect. There's a lot of combat in Lone Wolf though, which you have to use a random number table at the end of the book to play. So you're supposed to use a pen or pencil to randomly select a number from the table, but the problem was that the best outcomes are usually the number 0, which is conveniently placed at the bottom right corner of the page, which made it very easy to cheat. Oh, 0. 6 damage to you, 0 damage to me. Next round. Oh, 0 again. You giant spider thing. If I had to play it again, I'd use a 10-sided die. And a pro tip, the skills Herb Mastery and Astrology are about as f***ing useful as they sound, just like in real life. One of the best parts about the Lone Wolf series is that Joe Dever and the other contributors to the books have made it legally available to download for free over the internet. Just head on over to projectaeon.com for a little dash of nostalgia. Or for those of you who have never read game books before, find out what the fuss is all about. Seriously, if you like gaming, like reading, Lone Wolf. And I guess if you're 13 years old, the writing doesn't really hold up well. You can't really call it literature. You know, I would really love to talk about more books I read as a kid, but that's about all the time I have for this weekend, unfortunately. Perhaps there'll be a part 2 sometime soon. Keep on reading, folks, especially you, grandkids, if you're tuning in. I'm keeping my eyes on you. Until next time, love you all. When I got back to the room, there was a note stuck to the door, and it said, "F***ing nocturnals, there should be no movement in the room after 12 PM. Zen, don't play with me. You wouldn't want my revenge. When I can't sleep, I'm insane, because insane people won't be prosecuted under murder. Smiley face. Okay, my first ever death threat.